Okay. Just so you all know, it's really not easy talking with this microphone. Life is harder with it than it seems. Also, why is my face so small? Like, I mean, some of you have to strain your eyes, but come on, look how beautiful I am on it. Like, I've I've been looking forward to this conference for I don't know, since September, whenever we applied for this, and I look so good in this picture. Okay, you have to give credit to the Photoshop team a little bit, but it's mostly me. Over there you can't see it, but now I'm getting a beard on. It's quite cold, keeps me warm. One of the teachers here, you know him by now, Mr. Lennon. Every time I see him, I see a huge look of envy in his eyes, just, damn. I wish I had that beard of the IB student. It really means I accomplished something in life if a teacher is jealous. But anyway, let's not get distracted. Back to what I'm going to talk about today. Today I'm going to talk about an organism. I have lived personally with this organism for about a decade now. It holds an important part in my life. It holds an important part in other people's lives as well. Maybe some of these people are here tonight with us. You'll find out later. Unfortunately, why I'm talking about this organism is because this organism, we're forgetting it. It's going extinct. And this is not entirely our fault. Society is so modern. The world is so fast-paced. Many things are forgotten. We leave them behind, and they simply cease to exist. England had a decent football team. Now, well, I know, I can't say much. I won't even comment on that. The UK used to be in the EU, and we all know what happened. However, I truly believe this organism cannot be replaced in society, that it's truly unique. This organism, it has the most beautiful voice in nature. Trust me on this when I say it. It is scientifically proven that it has the greatest range of notes of all animals. It's about 5 to 6 octaves. For those of you who don't know what an octave is simply 8 notes. The range varies on when it comes to structure. This organism is also highly adaptive. It is adapted to almost any conditions on Earth, much like us humans. Therefore, I believe it is quite bizarre that it is on the verge of extinction. This organism is also quite sensitive. So much so that when it's singing, its angelic voice resonating around us, we have to be extremely careful not to make any rash movements, because that would simply seize a beautiful melody coming from it. And this point is important, because when this animal doesn't sing, we don't really perceive it as living. It just sits there, it doesn't eat, doesn't drink, doesn't move. But when it sings, everything changes. We should handle this animal gently, especially when we're around it. I like to think that when we're near this animal, we should caress it like a child. And yes, this talk about being gentle, care, paying attention. Anyway, paying attention to it. It might be quite annoying, but then we have children, and they're a nuisance, and we still keep them. This organism comes in a variety of shapes, colors, sizes, and each one is unique when it comes to its voice. That is due to differences in structure, maybe in its composition as well, on a more scientific aspect. We also all perceive it in a different way. Some people, like I, we're absolutely fascinated by it, by its versatility, by how many angles you can approach it from. Some people, they're quite indifferent about it, but it's just a matter of perspective, really. This organism, it was discovered 316 years ago by an Italian man called Bartolomeo Cristofori. Since then, since it's endangered, sightings have been less frequent. However, many subspecies have been discovered since then. Its phenotype has also changed over time. That is because we have bred this animal using artificial selection. That was governed mostly by our sense of aesthetics. And this has led to the production of some organisms being semi-synthetic and some fully synthetic. And if you'd ask me, the organisms that have more synthetic organs in them, well, they have less of a soul in them. They don't feel as lively. But with the wonders of plastic surgery, who knows? It's just opinion. Anything can seem real nowadays. It has to be noted that numerous specialists worked with this organism to produce different melodies, simply because the way this animal sings is so pleasurable to us. They had made this effort, and the results were splendid. Papers published hundreds of years ago even are still used in valued institutions, and they resonate in those great halls today. Over time, the way I've worked with this organism has also changed due to political, cultural, economic aspects. And we have noticed this with different patterns. For example, the organism would sing with a less saturated harmony, or the melody would be slightly happier or different. However, upon modern thought, we have realized that all these papers are valid. Even today, we're still producing different papers that amaze us, because this organism is so versatile and we can approach it from so many different ways. This organism also has to, this organism is mostly found in captivity, and it thrives at our side. Also quite surprising, isn't it, since most organisms don't thrive in captivity. That being said, the costs of keeping one are quite high. However, being a proud owner of one, I'd say the expenditure is worth it. Also, I see a lot of parents here today, so I have some advice for you regarding your children, which I mentioned earlier. If your child is not experienced with this organism, please don't hesitate to introduce it to this organism, but make sure your child is supervised. Not because your child is in danger, because the organism is in danger of being harmed by it. However, once they're accustomed to each other, they form a great duo. I mean, look at me, I'm a product of this. And I'm a perfect man. Back to that picture, if Leonardo da Vinci lived today, I think his picture of the perfect man would be that photo over there. Anyway, that said, this organism is not entirely a regular organism. It does have mood swings, much like us humans. Humans, some of us are moody, some of us are not really. Some of these animals are moody, some are not entirely moody. Some, on a rainy day, might sound quite quiet, like this. Some might sound loud on a cold, dry winter day like this. Some, well, they sound quite sad. Some, they sound quite playful. Some, they can get quite serious when needed to. Some can be quite romantic, surprising, since not all of us humans are romantic, but luckily for us, all individuals of these species are romantic. Some are quite childish at times. Some can be quite modern, the cool kids of these days, called hip. So, all in all, it's quite ironic, surprising that such an animal thrives in captivity, even though it is an endangered species. Oh, okay, jeez. Wow, didn't know I'm that scary. Well, anyway, for you to completely understand the message I'm trying to convey here, I believe you should be truly introduced to this organism. Now, of course, some of you might have already figured out what this organism is. However, for those of you who have not really known what this organism is, yeah, let me get to it. Come on. So, without further delay, let me introduce to you my passion, something I dearly, dearly love and hold near my heart. The only animal in the world to have 88 keys and no locks, the piano.